Hello everybody. It is Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. Can't believe that we're in October already. Okay, well, if the title that I posted on this Instagram Live thing is showing up, the title is that experts are dumb. That's overly simplified, potentially a bit crude, not always accurate, but sometimes accurate. So allow me to, something sparked, I don't know if this is going to be so much of a good show or a podcast or an episode or whatever, as much as maybe just a rant. But everyone enjoys a good rant every now and then. So allow me my rant as to why experts are dumb. So let's define expert first. Before I started this, I looked it up to see what is the actual definition of an expert. And here's what it is. An expert is a person who has a comprehensive and authoritative knowledge of or a skill in a particular area. Okay, fair enough. And a lot of times I think it's probably safe to say that experts are also associated with somebody who is well credentialed, has been steeped in academia. Or maybe if they're not in academia, they've done their time as a journeyman. If they're an expert level carpenter, they've been doing it for a decade. Whatever it happens to be, it's either a lot of experience, a lot of credentials in academia, or both. And then we bestow upon you the amazing title of expert, and everyone bows down to your knowledge. Very common in medicine. Again, things that need licensure, you need to be a licensed mechanic, a contractor, etc., etc. But here has been my experience with experts. And this was sparked from a screenshot that somebody took and posted in the Linchpin private track. I think it was last week, and it was so astonishing and revolting that I captured that screenshot to talk about it today. So before I get there, let me say this. This is what the screenshot was. It's from a CBS News affiliate, I believe in one of the Carolinas, maybe. But on the screen, on local news, CBS affiliate, it says, bad exercises for people 50 years and older. Okay, so if you're 50 years and older, these are bad exercises for you. And there's 4 of them, and they're listing them on the news to terrify everybody. Ready? Here's what they are. Shouldn't do them if you're over 50. This is what the news says. Pull-ups, push-ups, squatting with weights, and deadlifts. There's your list. Pull-ups, push-ups, squatting with weights, deadlift. Big headline on the local news, bad exercises for people 50 years and older. And then they quote their source as to where they got this amazing, groundbreaking information that the public needs to know. Their source is the Carolina Orthopedic and Neurological Association. Wow. That sounds like a trusted group of professionals, the Carolina Orthopedic and Neurological Associates. Thanks for nothing. Thanks for absolutely nothing. In a country of horrifically out of shape, deconditioned, overweight, sick, largely just dying individuals in desperate need of getting their butts off the couch, doing functional movements that actually have some value and utility in the real world. The list of 4 exercises are all functional, real-world activities. Don't do a pull-up, a push-up, don't squat with weight, and don't deadlift. The amount of actual idiocy in that is challenging for me to wrap my head around. And, hey, it came from the Carolina Orthopedic and Neurological Associates. I'm sure there's a bunch of doctors there that attended a whole bunch of prestigious schooling that I didn't go to, or your coach didn't happen to go to, so they must know more, right? About what the world needs with regards to working out and exercise. They're the authorities because they got the white coats on. They're doctors. Sadly, that has not been my experience. I can't speak for your experience. I can only tell you my experience. And also, although I'm painting with a broad brush right now, I also understand that there are doctors and physicians and everyone out there that actually get it and that actually understand health and fitness and understand strength and conditioning. But I'm here to tell you, at least in my experience, those people are not the norm. They are not. Most physicians, most doctors, most people in the medical profession absolutely are in the Stone Ages with regards to health and fitness and strength and conditioning. They are not subject matter experts, and the fact that they're putting information like this out to the public is terrifying because people will listen to it. And then you know what? Somebody who is 50 or older, who maybe finally got the motivation and courage to walk into a gym, to sign up for Linchpin, to do whatever it happens to be, they're going to see deadlifts, or they're going to see squatting with weights, and they're going to know that their trainer, or Pat, is not a doctor, not a neurological specialist, not an orthopedic surgeon. And so I can't possibly, or your local trainer can't possibly be right. This doctor must be right. Because not only are they a doctor, but they were on the local news. So now you have the doctor who's already placed on a pedestal going on media, which is already placed on a pedestal. That's 2 pedestals. How are you going to compete with 2 pedestals? People are going to take that as absolute gospel and be terrified of pull-ups, push-ups, squatting with weights, and deadlifts. I don't even know what to say about that. It just doesn't pass any common sense test at all. Okay, people over 50 shouldn't do that. Great. Deadlift. It's picking something up off the ground. So if you're over 50 years old, how are you supposed to get anything up off the ground? From your groceries to your grandchild to whatever it happens to be. If you're not doing the deadlift, what are you doing? So that's stupid. Squatting with weights. Okay, again, going from a seated to a standing position. So you're only allowed to go from a seated to a standing position if you're 50 years or older with no weight ever on your body. And again, I'll use the grandkid thing again. So you're sitting on the couch watching a show with your grandchild on your lap. You better not get up with him on your lap. That's a weighted squat. You'll die. What a bunch of absolute morons. And this is one of my huge problems with classic medicine and strength and conditioning nonsense, clickbait nonsense that you see on social media, on the internet, wherever it happens to be. There's just a lack of common sense, a lack of the truth, and a lack of people that actually know what they're talking about. Here's the deal. I've communicated with a tremendous amount of physicians and maintained friendships to this day. I mean, back when I was working the MDL ones, the level ones just for physicians with CrossFit, I got to know a bunch of physicians, and every weekend there was 40 to 50 of them sitting in the audience I'd speak to, and they would actually tell you, now they're unique because they were actually caring about CrossFit and learning about strength and conditioning, but they were doing that on their own. If you ask them, did you actually learn about strength and conditioning and health and fitness in medical school in any sort of meaningful, applicable way to make you anything resembling an expert? The answer is no. No, they did not. That's not what they learned how to do. And that's okay, because they're going to learn how to be an orthopedic surgeon, and there's enough to learn spending all of your time in medical school just getting good at orthopedic surgery that you're not going to spend your time also learning about nutrition and functional movements and time, that you're not going to do that. But what do we see? We see somebody who's a doctor. We see somebody with a white coat, and we figure they must be an all-knowing, unequivocal, truth-telling, omnipotent source of knowledge about everything relating to a human being. That is just simply not true. Period. End of story. And it's a tragedy that something like this was put on the news. It's absolutely ridiculous. The push-up is on there. It says people 50 years or older shouldn't do a push-up. If you fall on the ground, how are you supposed to get up? You're not supposed to push yourself off planet Earth? I'm sorry. Again, like I said, this was going to be pretty much a rant, and just kind of a slight attack on experts. There are experts, but there are very few people that are experts in everything. If you're an orthopedic surgeon, you are hopefully an expert at being an orthopedic surgeon. And it's so time consuming that probably not much else. Same with, if whatever your specialty happened to be, that's probably your lifelong pursuit, and it's okay. And I also remember, back in the day, take this for what it's worth. Get mad at me if you want, but all I'm telling you is the truth as I have experienced it. If you've lived a different life, I'm so happy for you. Getting back to who's an expert in credentials and licensing and academia and all that. Greg Glassman, God bless him, he had a lot of great, one-liners. But one of them, which was very biting and, probably didn't make a lot of people smile if they were in that discipline, but he's not exactly wrong, is he used to say something along the lines of, an athlete needs an exercise scientist like a deer hunter needs an accordion. I love that line. If you're an exercise scientist, you probably don't love that line. Although I have exercise scientist friends and we laugh about that line because they're the ones that actually are very cool about it. They're like, yeah, that's quite true, because usually what science does is science observes what's going on in nature and then tries to figure out why it's happening. And so the coach has already been making athletes phenomenal for years. Scientist isn't exactly sure what's going on at the cellular level, tries to figure that out, but the coach already knows that what he's doing is working and doesn't really need the scientist to validate it. So there's an interesting little back and forth there, but that line always cracked me up. And I'm here to tell you, I saw that play out over about the 200 seminars that I did, level 1 seminars. There'd be a participant list of who's showing up that weekend. And there was a place for you to list your credentials. And trust me, if somebody has fancy credentials, you don't have to twist their arm. They're going to list them. And if it happened at 1 seminar, coincidence, fluke. Happened at 2, okay, still a fluke, not statistically valid. But after 50, 100, 150, couple hundred seminars, and it happens all the time, you have to think that it's no longer a random coincidence and there's actually something there. And what I'm getting at is there was a direct correlation to the more credentials in academia with regards to strength and conditioning that somebody listed, and them sitting in the audience and not really being that sharp about health and fitness. It was astonishing to me. It's not what I expected. It was actually the polar opposite of what I expected. But over the course of 5 years and doing 200 seminars, I'm here to tell you, hook me up to a polygraph, that's what I saw over and over and over again. Again, not all the time. There were certainly people who had astonishing laundry lists of credentials, and they were on point. They knew their stuff. They were great. They were open-minded. They were accurate. They were valid. What they were doing was effective. But that was rare. As crazy as that was, it was almost an inverse proportion. Sad but true. So hey, don't shoot the messenger. So point being, when it comes to experts, not all experts are created equal, right? Think about whatever this quote-unquote supposed expert is. Dig into what has that person actually done and accomplished in the world of strength and conditioning. What are the real-world results that they have produced? Measurable, observable, and repeatable results that you can prove. And how long have they consistently been providing these results to a population of individuals? That matters a lot. You might find somebody with a lot of cool things hanging on the back of the wall and nothing really going on with their athletes. Big hat, no cattle. And then you might find the opposite. Somebody that has just a very humble credential or whatnot and is a phenomenal coach training people's lives every day and knows what they're doing with health and nutrition. So anyway, bit of a rant. Hope that you enjoyed it. And yes, I'll read it one more time because it's so amazing. This is from a CBS affiliate on TV, the news. Big headline across the top says, bad exercises for people 50 years and older. And it lists 4 of them. 4 of these terrible exercises for people 50 years or older that you just shouldn't do. They're bad. Pull-ups, push-ups, squatting with weights, and deadlifts. And the source of this information, as posted in the local news, the Carolina Orthopedic and Neurological Associates. Thanks for nothing. So anyway, everybody out there, be smart, keep your eyes wide open, be wary of the experts, or at least check them to make sure that they really, great credential. What are you actually delivering on the goods that you said you are? Look out for the clickbait, health and fitness, social media influencers. Get yourself around some people that are actually doing real things day in and day out, and make that your tribe. So that's it. Have a great day, and we'll talk later.